everybody. You're watching Jewel B on So Booking Cool. I'm Janice McLean DeLoatch, author of Autobiography of an Entrepreneur and BlackShoppingNetworks.com.
So booking, so booking, so booking cool.
It's so motherfucking cool to listen to So Booking Cool.
Welcome to So Booking Cool, it's Jewel B. In part 2 of my conversation, I chat with an award-winning entrepreneur of more than 2 decades. She is the creator of the show Entrepreneur Edge TV, now known as the hit weekly radio show It's Janice, Minority Women Entrepreneurs, on WOLB 1010 Talk Radio. She's interviewed many notables, including presidents, politicians, entrepreneurs, business leaders, entertainers, authors, sports, and civil rights figures. Her book is called The Autobiography of an Entrepreneur, and she is the founder of the recently launched BlackShoppingNetworks.com. Stay tuned for part 2 of my conversation, and make sure you check out part 1 as well with Janice McLean DeLoatch, only on So Booking Cool.
The BlackShoppingNetworks.com. That is a platform that will allow any entrepreneur around the country to get on here. And this is a vehicle that I do want to emphasize for minorities and women-owned businesses. I do. But I am not excluding other people from supporting what we do, because there are a lot of people who are not Black, who are not women, who do. And I definitely welcome them, because I've ran into a number of them who did not. So I welcome those ones who do want to support. But the Black Shopping Networks will allow, it's a 4-tier process I have on here. So if you are that startup and you really don't have a lot of income or funding, then you want a tier 1. It allows you to have a website. It allows you to have e-commerce. Remember, I talked about e-commerce being really expensive. And the company behind my e-commerce is a company called Digital Air, which is a Black-owned tech guy who came together with me. He said, Janice, we're going to make this work. We're going to make this affordable so that the everyday entrepreneur who only has $500 a month, and for the tier 1, it's only $149, which will allow you a website, your own page, and e-commerce just to get up and running. We also have a level 2, a level 3, and a level 4, which is where I feature your product. So for example, So Booking Cool is the feature on the website today. And you also have your products that you list up to 25. And you also have your own website and your e-commerce. And we have digital coins that you can share with shoppers that come to your site and your page. And the other thing about Black Shopping Networks, now I am tooting my own horn, but let me say this. It is so cool, no pun intended, because you get to see all the unique businesses and companies and products that I know about in Maryland, but she's actually in New Jersey. Or I know about in Maryland, but she's actually in Texas. And just like we're giving all of our money to Amazon, you guys need to start shopping BlackShoppingNetworks.com, because again, we've got independent, unique products that are made by women and minorities that aren't on Amazon, but they will be here. If you guys would partner with me and support me, I can support you too. And, on Blackout Day, by July 7th, which was by Blackout Day, I had quite a number of businesses sign up, because we all feel like we should have our own platforms and our own networks. And again, we're not excluding other people. We're just supporting each other. And so I get to do that. And so this has really been, it's been a labor of love. It's kind of, some days I'm not a technical person. And when I have to talk to them and have those meetings, I'm like, oh, but I understand the benefit for everybody, including me. And so one of the first products up on the blackshoppingnetworks.com is Autobiography of an Entrepreneur. So we launched Black Shopping, and I say we because I have a wonderful team of people behind me that are working with me. I want to just thank Mel. I want to thank Shelly. I want to thank Tanya. And I'm missing somebody. I'm sorry. They're going to get me. Shelly. Michael.
There we go.
Michael and Scott. I want to thank those guys, and I want to thank Richard, the guy who's handling the technical, the back end part. So I want to just say that, this is my idea. It's my vision, but all of those people helped make it come true. They really did, because I didn't have a clue. And I get to support them because all of them have their own businesses independently too. Shelly does marketing, Scott does video, Richard does the back end, the e-commerce sites. Jimmy did the video for the press release. And so, Mel really kind of helped us connect some of the dots, some of the I's, and cross some of the T's, and really kind of help pull the whole thing collectively together. But we launched on July the 7th, blackout date. TI actually was doing a campaign to get 1 million Black businesses. I don't know if he quite got 1 million. I know there were a number of them that did sign up, and we sent the link for the websites. I'm not sure if he let people know about blackshoppingnetworks.com, but we launched on July 7th, and we had a good response. Let me say that. We didn't get the response that I want. You get a Black coin, which is a digital coin that you can use to shop on our site. So it's like you have money whenever you shop on our site. When you shop on blackshoppingnetworks.com, you accrue money. So in essence, I'm giving you money to shop on my sites, right? And you can shop with any of the vendors that are signed up on the sites. So for example, So Booking Cool, if somebody wanted to come and purchase news services from you, they come to your site, they purchase from you, you give them a digital coin that we give you when you sign up, and they can shop with you and buy other things that you offer. Maybe you have bookmarkers, or maybe you have magnets. And so in essence, we're helping bring you more customers and keep that customer on your site spending the free money that they get because you signed up and you've partnered with us. So as we go on, I'll find other ways and perks of how to make those digital coins do more for people, stretch our bucks, so to speak. I don't have that yet, but it's coming. So I don't know. I hope it's a good incentive for people to sign up and shop with other vendors.
Right. It's coming. It's coming. I want to also know, do you think that anyone has the ability to start their own business? Because I know you are, and people listening this will and watching will get this from you, that you are such a business advocate,
I think people have the ability to do anything they want if they really want to. I will say entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. And so this is one of the reasons why I really get frustrated with the processes that are in place and that are obstacles for the everyday entrepreneur, small business owner, and women business owner. Because a lot of the laws that are on the books are still very old and are still a problem. And I can tell you right now, there are people from the Small Business Administration and SCORE that I love. We've gotten to be Well, some of them I actually do consider a friend, that I've met through fussing with them about why things are the way they are. And one of the questions that I always ask is, if I walk into a small business administrative office right now, and I know this is COVID-19, so we can't walk into those buildings right now, but this is a hypothetical. And I said, I come in, somebody takes my name, I fill out my form, I give them all of my information, I tell them that, I want to write a book and I want to get it distributed. Okay, so now you have all of my information and you've given me all these resources, and the first thing they're going to tell you is to go create a business plan, which is important, true. And then I leave that office with my folder full of information that you just given me, and 6 months have gone by and I haven't launched my business and you haven't called me. So the SBA actually, and this is why we have to pay attention to filling out forms and just being part of a statistical group, because the SBA can track how many people come into their offices and sign up and fill those forms out and tell you they were there to get services. But they cannot tell you what happened to those people when they left that office. Did they start their business? Did they not? Why didn't they start it? What was the obstacle? Did we reach out to try to help them? What grants are available? What funding sources were available to help them? I know they can't give you that. And I know that they won't give you that because, again, this is my experience. So the SBA continues to be, right now, went through the whole paycheck protection program. You remember the PPP, when the coronavirus shut all these businesses down and everybody was racing to go apply for PPP, paycheck protection program? You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Right.
I remember, yeah.
And you had all these companies like the Los Angeles Lakers, you had Chris Ruth's Steakhouse, you had all these companies that these commercial banks were given 20 million, 10 million, 4 million, 5 million. They could tell you that those big companies who already had millions of dollars in revenue were actually getting more money, but they couldn't tell you where somebody like me, did I get any money? Do you know why I didn't get it? Was I even able to get through the process? Because I don't have a special accountant and tax associate to go and do my forms for me and submit it within 30 days and get me that money. And what happened to all those companies that did get it? A lot of them still went out of business because the Paycheck Protection Program was the Band-Aid on the fact that banks give money to their customers that are giving them a lot of money. They get revenue and interest on that. So when you've got somebody low on the totem pole like me, I'm not their priority. I won't say they don't care, but I will say they don't care. So when you have an agency like the SBA, I feel like the SBA could be a great agency if they are willing to listen to the people that come through their doors, track what's happening with them, create grants and funding sources. The SBA is the Small Business Administration. What are they administrating? Because if you can't help me with funding, you can't help me with grants, you can't help me get through the loan process to get some money to help, you can't even provide me with an e-commerce platform, which is what I'm doing, the blackshoppingnetworks.com. What are you doing? Why? What is their purpose? And not only that, when I tell you that Entrepreneur Magazine stole my business identity and GoDaddy gave it to them, I couldn't even go to the SBA or the Minority Business Development Agency or SCORE, the Service Corporation of Retired Executives, and say, can you guys help me get a lawyer to represent me in litigation in this court? Now, for the life of me, if people are forming businesses, the SBA is there to help people start and grow businesses. And one of the first questions should be, what type of business are you going to start? Is it an S Corp? Is it a LLC? Is it a corporation? Is it a non-LLC entity? Do you have more than 5 employees? Will you have more than 10 people? Are you, if you're forming a company, somebody should be able to tell you. Even sometimes companies go out of business just because our business structures aren't even right. Sole proprietors, we don't always have to be sole proprietors. In some cases, we should be LLCs because you get a tax shelter that you can then roll in and write off expenses like buying a printer. Now, if I can sit here and tell you this, I am not an attorney. I guarantee you, though, 99% of what I just said to you is 100% on the money. Again, because I've been through it. But somebody in an SBA office or a SCORE office or a minority business development office, which I'm puzzled about, the minority business development office had no legal assistance to help me with any of that. None of them do. So at the end of the day, the SBA and all these other agencies that I keep naming, and I could really go through the list because I know quite a few of them, even down to the Chamber of Commerce's. Chamber of Commerce's are in business to help businesses. But I guarantee you won't go into a Chamber of Commerce office and be able to get legal assistance that they will pay for to help you have the right structure and the right format, and even help you organize your business plan, which is part of the reason why businesses fail. They can always, I know you can hear me getting real passionate about this, but if I hear one more person tell me, oh, well, most businesses fail within 5 years. Yeah, they do. Tell me why they fail. And tell me what you did to help prevent them from failing within that 5 years. Yeah, we know they fail. You've been saying that for 25 years, but tell me how you're going to stop them from failing by not continuing to repeat what you already know has been happening for 25 years. And get this, the SBA does not have any accountability issues, meaning if you go to their office and you sign up and 6 months later, your business goes out of business, nobody's checking, nobody knows, and nobody's getting fired because they didn't help you succeed. Why? Okay, I digress.
Where do you see yourself, like, in the future, ideally, as it comes to business and having the Black shopping networks and continuing to have a platform for other entrepreneurs?
Okay, well, I kind of went off on a tangent, being frustrated about why agencies don't have accountability and no legal representation whatsoever to help business startups, which, by the way, I want to offer on the Black shopping networks. As a matter of fact, I have contacted a company called the African American Attorney Network to see if we can partner together and offer legal assistance of some sort, or they can be a client on the Black shopping networks who will afford the opportunity to other small businesses and entrepreneurs that want to sign up some kind of discount to make sure that they have their businesses right. Now, I mention that again because initially you asked me if everybody can be an entrepreneur, and I kind of went off on my tangent with that whole thing, but I believe that everybody has the ability to be an entrepreneur if they are willing to work through the process, put in the time, the sweat equity to do everything that it takes to see it successful. And it is not going to happen overnight. Sometimes it doesn't happen in 5 years. Sometimes it's 20 years. Most of the companies that you see who are on top and are in business and have staying power, most of them, even if you look at entertainers, most of the entertainers who really hit their stride have been in the business for at least 10 years or so, between 10 and 20 years before they really hit their stride. They're new to everybody else because you feel like they just came out of the woodwork and all of a sudden they're just this popular act, but really they've been grinding between 10 and 20 years to be who they are. So everybody can be an entrepreneur if they're willing to put the work in. Some people are good with having the idea and maybe having other people execute their ideas. And then you have some people who just don't want to be. And that's okay too. Because at the end of the day, if everybody could create a business and own a business and start a business, I'm sure there wouldn't be anybody to work these businesses because everybody would be doing just that. So where do I see myself going? The blackshoppingnetworks.com, and that's plural. It's BLACK shopping, NETWORKS.com, and blackshoppingnetwork.com. I see growing this as large as I can to be, I guess, in competition. I don't say competition, it's not about competing for me, but I want them to be on a platform like an Alibaba or an Amazon. And even China has their own Amazon. I forget what the name is right now. So I see that, I see Black Shopping Networks being that here in the United States and around the country for me and for us. And I also see it being its own shopping channel on television, which I want to say hi to a partner, MVP TV Network, who will be carrying the Black Shopping Network and the Black Shopping Networks on their TV network channel. So this will be a viable shopping channel that you can get online as well as look at on TV and shop. And remember when I started, I told you about the Black models and the minority models and the short models that I started out doing? It'd be real cool if I could find some of those guys and get them to model some of these products and fashions on the online as well as the TV version. So I see me doing that. I'm also writing my second book, in which I will talk a lot about financing and agencies that get a lot of millions of dollars every year and have absolutely no accountability to the taxpayers who fund it, and what we can do collectively. And when I say we, I mean all people. It's important that Black people and women, we do have our own distinct voice, very much so. But I've never been one for segregating people. So I don't want to divide people. I really want to include everybody, but some things are specifically just for certain people because we've been denied the opportunity for so long. So I'm sure I will continue the Black Shopping Networks. I'm going to work on my second book. I already have another idea. Every time I say I have an idea, everybody goes, oh gosh, here she goes again. I do. I have another idea that I definitely am working on, where I want to help infrastructures in the communities, and I hope to be able to do this through the Black Shopping Networks. One thing that I will say is when people think that Black people don't have any money, well, everybody doesn't think that. There are some people that think that. Let me just say that is wrong. We have a number of Black millionaires and billionaires in our communities, and sometimes I get frustrated because I wonder why we're not collectively working together. And I'm not going to name any specific millionaires or billionaires because I'm sure you guys probably know the first 3 or 4 that come to mind. But here's the thing. If each millionaire donated $1 million just in the city or the state that they're in to improve schools, to improve business resources, just support money for that state, just $1 million in 52 states, we would make a considerable difference in our communities for all people. We would create opportunities. We would create additional revenue streams. The Black dollar would go up. So I'm working on something that will help each community, will help communities. But I can't do it alone. I'm going to have to reach out to people, and I hope that they will hear me and they will help. And so that's one of the things that I definitely am going to work on. The other thing that I'm working on is a project called the Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame. Because in addition to all of my serial entrepreneurism, I don't know if that's a word. Maybe that's a word. Maybe we'll make it a word. Growing up, I was a musician, and I played in the band, and I used to love to write music and sing and write songs. And I created, I did a CD. My CD was called I Ain't No Hater, which is strange because I went to a Catholic school. And so for me to say ain't and hater spelled that way, H-A-T-A, it was funny because I had to try to get my mind around saying it the right way. But even that song was written back in 1990. And it was about not hating on people, just accepting people and being happy for people. And I don't know, I've always kind of been that way. I've never been mad that somebody else had something. I just wanted to know how I could do it or what I could do of my own. And so I really wish people would work on that mindset, just being happy for people. But I wrote music, and I am not the best singer, but I ended up singing my own songs because my niece, who is a dynamic singer, hey Desiree, I love you, never showed up to the studio sessions on time. And I really wanted to get this song done because there was a show taping called The Wire. And, you know, what The Wire is now, it's infamous. But they were looking for submissions of music and people to be on their show. And so I submitted a song called I Ain't No Hater and one called I'm Addicted, which actually got picked up for The Wire on the first and second season. I never got paid for that, but anyway, that's another whole story. And yes, I was on The Wire. I played a crackhead. So if you saw me, you would never even know it was me. But what I realized is that I actually do a radio show too. It's called It's Janice, which is on WOLB AM radio. It's the Radio 1 networks in Baltimore, Maryland. And one of the radio segments I did that day was about songwriters, and specifically women songwriters. And when I was researching women songwriters, I realized that the Songwriters Hall of Fame has 693 members, and 77 of them are women, and 2 of them are Black women in the history of the Songwriters Hall of Fame. When I looked at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, same thing. Less than 1% women songwriters have ever been honored in Songwriters Hall of Fame and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And in this day and age, 2 Black women in the entire 693 membership of the Songwriters Hall of Fame. So again, I go back to what my dad told me, you know, Janice, if you have a problem with something, fix it. So I did. I created something called the Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame, which will launch December 2020, and had Cool in the Gang. I had Robert Cool Bell, who was actually on my radio show, and we talked about this very same thing, and he said the same thing too. The time has come to honor women songwriters and Black women songwriters. And instead of waiting for the Hall of Fame, you know, it was interesting because Robert Cool Bell said he kept asking them when they were going to honor Cool and the Gang in the Songwriters Hall of Fame. And he said, you know, he kept asking. And finally, recently, I think in the last 3 years, they were actually inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. But, you know, he shouldn't have had to keep asking. I mean, Stevie Wonder is another one. I mean, so I'm not going to keep waiting for people to validate us. And when I say us, I mean women, and I mean minority songwriters. And so I'm doing the Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame. It's launching in December. And I'm hoping, and this is a secret, that we can honor Dionne Warwick, because I think she would be an amazing person to Uh-oh. Sorry, someone's trying to call me. I think that she would be an amazing person to have in the Songwriters Hall of Fame as our first Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame award, or even the name an award after her, because Dionne Warwick is amazing.
Yes.
She's been around for years, and so many others. I mean, there are people like Sylvia Rohn. We just had Johnny Walker on my radio show a couple weeks ago. She is the president of the National Association of Black Female Executives in Music and Entertainment. In fact, that organization grew about because Black women in the music and entertainment industry, nobody was hearing them. They weren't listening. Johnny Walker worked under Russell Simmons and ran Def Jam's recordings, and you remember the Def Jam Comedy Hour. Johnny Walker was in charge of that. And she realized that, nobody was listening to Black women and females, Black people and women executives in these organizations. And we're talking about major record labels. And so it was pretty much, they just had somebody sitting at the table who represented a woman or a person of color, but their input was not welcome. But we're going to do better. So we've got the Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame now. And I want everybody to know this is all for all of us. And we're going to come and celebrate our women and our people. And we're going to let people know about our history and the great works and things that we have done in the past. We're not just going to keep waiting for other people to give us validation. We're going to validate ourselves, and we're going to do it ourselves, and we're going to make it happen. So there, I'm going to stop there. Second book, Songwriters Hall of Fame, extending Black shopping networks into TV, and then I'm going to sit down for 5 minutes.
Janice McLean DeLoatch, thank you again. It was amazing having you on So Booking Cool. We have to talk again. Like there's so much more to discuss with you. I would love to talk with you again in the future. Congratulations on that second book, by the way. That's very exciting. And everything that you have going on with the blackshoppingnetworks.com, this women songwriters initiative that you have going on, Women in Music. If I could just say, what keeps you motivated?
It's funny. My answer used to be money. When I was younger, it was becoming famous and making money. When you're older, well, I'm older. I don't know about you. Still look good though. But I'm older now. It is not about money and things and stuff. And this is actually pre-COVID-19. It's just not about things and stuff anymore. It's more about creating legacies that mean something to my family, for me, to the world, to our communities. It is about, at the end of the day, what was my contribution to the world? Did I make anything better? Did I help anybody along the way? Because you can see money and stuff, it should not be the major important thing. Now, I'm not saying it's not important, and I'm not saying it's not cool to have. But I don't know, COVID has made us all look at things a lot differently. And I think it is not about he who has the most chips and toys at the end anymore. I think it is about, what does my life say of me? What did my work say of me? Did I help anybody else along the way? So that keeps me motivated. And then also finishing something. I've always been one for finishing something that I start. Win or lose, good or bad, I want to finish something and just see, was I right? Did it make sense? Should I have done that? Could I have done that? Will I do that? But it's also, the main thing for me is I want my children to see, and strangely, a lot of them are doing things similar to to some of the things that I've done. One of them writes music and sings and works on music. I have another one who actually had just built his own website platform, which I won't go into because I can't. He won't allow me to talk about it. But he's also written some books. And then I have one that is military. And what I see from all of them is that they always know Mom is not lazy. She's not lazy. She works hard. She's been building and grinding for years, and they know that. They tell me that all the time. They're like, Mom, you need to just sit down for 5 minutes. You work all the time. Take a break. Chill out. Do this. And but I always wanted them to see that Black people do work hard. And I know they're not looking at it in terms of my color, but there's always been in the back of some people's minds this notion that Black people are lazy and they don't work hard and they don't want anything. That is not true. We work very hard. We want everything. We are just facing obstacles and walls that won't allow us to be the great people, the great producers that we can be. Some of us fight and we get through it, and a lot more would if they had some help. So that motivates me to continue to help, to continue to find ways to support other people, to continue to be a visible inspiration that we are not lazy. We do work hard. And when we do, great things come. We have to keep building. And when we build, people will come. And when they come, they have to support. So what motivates me is to not be lazy. And I want to say this, just in closing. We have to dispel the notion that Black people don't support each other. That's not true. We do. We have to do more of it. And we have to support each other's businesses. We have to support our community. And let me just say, when you shop on Black shopping networks, don't ask for discounts. Don't ask for half prices. Support people. Pay full price. Give them what they're asking for. But they, in turn, have to make sure the products that they give and the service that they offer is excellent. So those things motivate me.
All right. And how can people keep up with you?
So you can go to my website, www.janice.media. I am also on the social medias for now. I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram and Twitter under Janice McLean DeLoatch. Actually, on Twitter, I'm on @JaniceOnTV. And why I say I'm on the social medias for now, I'm on the social media platforms of other people for now. Because everybody says, oh, just Facebook me or just send me something on Twitter or Instagram. But guess what? When I send you to their platforms to look at what I'm doing, you're not on my platform. So I tell people to go to my website, www.janice.media, and anything that I really want you to know or show you. I even have grants. I list free grants every month, which we have to update this month because, with the launch of the Black Shopping Networks, my website kind of got left behind in the dust. But we're going to get it updated this month. But every month I list a free grant resource. In fact, last month I had one for military and veterans who wanted to start businesses. It's free. I do a free grant every month, but you won't find it on my social medias. And I won't tell you about grant opportunities on any of those other platforms. I will tell you about it on www.janice.media, because there's another lady who's benefiting from me, and I'm not going to say her name because I'm going to promote her. So just be clear that it's www.janice.media. And then you can go to www.blackshoppingnetworks.com. And so anything that people want to know about what I'm doing, where I'm going, new products, new trends, grants, money, opportunities, patent issues, trademark issues, it is not going to be on my social media. It is going to only be on www.janice.media. Now, if for some reason you go there and you don't see it, send me an email and I'll make sure that we get an answer for you. But I won't do it on my social medias. What I will do on my social medias is post interviews. In fact, Jewel, if you would send me this interview, I will post it there.
Oh, great. Of course I will.
Yes, I will share it on all of my social medias. I will share informations and stories that are uplifting and positive for the community. I'll share that kind of stuff on the social medias. And I thank them for having that platform for us all to be able to get on and connect. But monetizing it, when you think about as an entrepreneur or a business person being on those platforms, people say, oh, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter and LinkedIn and Instagram, and I'm making money. Well, you're making some of the money because those platforms are making the other half of the money because the advertisers are watching the numbers that you guys are posting when you sign up and you put your stuff on their platforms. So instead of having 5 people on Facebook, now you've got 50 people on Facebook, and advertisers are paying Facebook based on those 50 people. Just think, if you guys signed up on Black Shopping Networks, advertisers would pay me that money that I can then invest in you guys and your businesses. So yes, I want to make money. I do. Yes, I want to grow this. I do. But I'm also providing the platform and the vehicle to help everybody else do it as well if they want to. So
I really like your website as well because you have that information you mentioned, and then you have your favorites, and you also have your book of the month that you do.
yes. Ah, you're a smart cookie. You did your homework. All right.
Yeah,
Very nice.
of course. Yeah. What does it take to make Janice's book of the month?
I haven't thought about that. Honestly, I haven't. But what I do is the few books that we've had up there have all been books about being positive. As a matter of fact, Cyrus Webb has a book about being positive. I definitely want to see if we can get that as one of our book of the month. And he has a book club. Cyrus Webb is a broadcaster. He has a radio show, but he's also an author, and he wrote a book about being positive. So I try to have books that are positive, that are inspirational, that offer tips to help foster people's growth in the area of business and entrepreneurship, but also in life, because it's important to be equally balanced. You know, sometimes I tend to just be all about business, business, and then I forget, oh wait, I've got a family. So I have to, and I don't want to make them feel like, it's a burden for them to be there because I'm so wrapped up in my own world. So balance is very important too. And so I try to find books that help us have balance and help grow. And, so I look for books like that. So I don't know yet. I never really thought about it. Really, I'll tell you what happened. People submit books to me, and I just kind of took the first ones that I got and put them up there. That's kind of how they ended up there. I had one from the founder of Uggs, and his book is, as a matter of fact, he sent me quite a few. And if, people hear this interview and they respond to my email, I will send them one of those books that the guy from Uggs gave me, and I will also send them one of my books too. So his story is really quite interesting, and he talks a lot about some of the same issues that I had in terms of funding and trademark battles, and that's a whole other thing because now I'm promoting his book, so I'm going to stop talking about him. But that's how I ended up with the books that I've had so far. So if you send me a book, Joel, here's a heads up, it will probably be our book of the month.
Guys, make sure you all stay tuned and keep updated with Miss Janice McLean DeLoatch. And thank you to all the listeners. Until next time, so booking cool.
Can I just say real quick before we go, you're watching Jewel B with So Booking Cool.